Нека да започваме. Добър ден!
Извинявай, Тони, не се чува.
Сега чуваме ли се?
Сега се чува, да.
Съжалявам за техническия проблем, но нещо каш на системата. Явно в виртуалния свят се случват и такива неща. Добре дошли още веднъж на всички на втория ден от нашия двудневен семинар Разделителни и спектрални методи за анализ. Надявам се, че ви намирам в добро здраве и разположение на духа. Както вчера вече споменах, това е 20-тия семинар, който организираме през октомври, стартирайки от 2001 година и прескачайки миналата година. Това е нашия 20-ти семинар за първи път в виртуалното, надявам се и за последен път, и до година да се видим на живо в нормална обстановка и в нормален семинар, да имаме удоволствието да пием по едно кафе и да си кажем на здраве. Целта на нашия октомврийски семинар, както винаги, е да ви запознаем за новости в продуктовата листа на Scientific за 21-а, а частично и за 20-та година, защото има много нови продукти и много нови приложения и специфични методи за анализ в областите на инструменталната аналитична химия. Аз няма да повтарям вчерашните презентации, само да спомена, че семинара се организира със съдействието на Scientific, благодарение на нашите лектори от Scientific, на моите колеги от търговския и сервизния отдел и на всички вас, регистрираните повече от 100 човека за вчерашния и днешния ден, разбира се. Някои са регистрирани и за 2 дни. Всички вие, нашите виртуални гости. Нашите лектори днес, Бурхард Стехъл, който ще представи продуктите в областта на следови елементи на анализ на Scientific, основно ICP оптична емисия и ICP-MS. Михал Климович, който ще ни запознае с продуктите в областта на инфрачервената спектроскопия. Марта Ставицка-Мирота, УВ-ВИС и нанодоп спектрофотометрите, новостите, новите апарати и приложенията, разбира се, особено на нанодоп, който има голямо приложение на днешно време в тестването за COVID. И 2 презентации от моите колеги. Едната е на Христо Йорданов за системите за пречистена вода на Елга Лаблота Виолия. И последната презентация от днешната програма е на Светослав Радуловски за фармацевтичните тестери на ЕВЕК. Това е нашата програма за днес. Ще се опитаме максимално да се доближим към нея. Желая ви приятно слушане, приятен ден и не забравяйте да задавате въпроси и да останете за нашата дискусия. Модератор днес, както и вчера, ще бъде Христо. Хубав ден от мене и давам думата на Христо.
Здравейте, колеги, от мен. Единственото, което мога да добавя към това, което господин Минков каза, че може да задавате въпроси в чата на език, на който ви е удобно. Ние ще превеждаме на лекторите вашите въпроси, така че не се притеснявайте да ги задавате по всяко време, по време на презентацията или след това. Започваме по програма. Първата презентация за днес е за продуктите в областта на елементния анализ на господин Бърхард Щел и приятно слушане и ползотворен семинар. Бърхард, it's your turn.
Thank you, Christo. Hello, everybody, to this COVID seminar for ACM2, day 2. Normally, I used to travel every October to the annual seminar of our long-term partner ACM2, but under the actual circumstances, this is not possible, so we are happy to make this virtual webinar. And today, for my part, it's about, first of all, give you an impression of our new ICP-MS offering, our new ICAP TQE, followed by an improvement for our ICP-MS. So we have got a brand new torch design for our MS series. And last but not least, of course, our quite new optical ICP, ICAP Pro series. By the way, there are lots of words, but anybody who is interested, please contact the ACM2 team. Then they can supply this PowerPoint as a PDF to you that you can read it having all the time if you're interested. So our offering in the past had been two models for ICP-MS, a single quad and a triple quad. So we covered, as we thought, most of the market. Now we're looking first of all to the different two instruments on some of their features. So they are highly sensitive for uranium. That's every time our benchmark, especially for Germany, because we have got uranium in our rock drinking water when we drill too deep into rocks. So we have got a detection limit for uranium of 16 ppq. This unit is easy to maintain and run. You can easily access sample in skimmer cone and everything that has to be cleaned and maintained on user level. We've got a quite powerful RF generator. We had a learning process in this RF generator, but actually it shows to be really a fantastic device. I would dare to say even the best on the market. So you can change also the different sample matrices, starting with water foods. That's one sample kit. Organics is another, or HF when you have to work with more aggressive acids. This can be done within 1 or 2 minutes, including even stabilization time. Vacuums, of course, is not broken by this exercise. Also, you can change the normal characteristics, so a high matrix ICP-MS into high resolution ICP-MS, let me say in brackets. With changing the inner orifice, you can have this characteristic of a semicon unit. Means highly sensitive, but of course you sacrifice a little bit matrix tolerance. My saying is every time where light is also shadow. This unit is also ready for all accessories. They are fully integrated in our software, in our Qtegra software. For example, the Chromelium from IC. You can adapt a laser, time-resolved units, argon dilution, fast, intelligent samplers. Everything is possible. The only negative, that's general for all single quad ICP-MS, they cannot handle all interferences. I would say 95% of all possible interferences can be done with a single quad, but there are 5% left, and for this 5%, you need a triple quad. You face sometimes, especially when it's about geoshem and rare earth elements, you face sometimes doubly charged interferences where you have to have an additional filter, so a triple quad. That was the first quadrupole acts as an additional mass filter, and then you have to measure your target element, your element of interest, by a mass shift, that you do not measure arsenium or selenium direct on mass, you measure it as selenium oxide or arsenium oxide. Only negative about this unit, it's a quite high-end unit and it comes at a price. So what we thought inside of Thermo, that there is a gap between two models, between the traditional single quad and the traditional triple quad. So we considered and did it and designed a TQE model. This TQE model really closes the gap between the elite model, the normal TQ, and the standard model, the single quad model, or ICAP RQ offering. The TQ is basically, the TQE, sorry, is basically a TQ model, just a few features are taken out. So it's a true and fully triple quad. The only limitation we have got there is we reduce the collision and reaction gases to oxygen. Why oxygen? We found out that 80 to 90% of our users are running the triple quad only in oxygen or oxygen kinetic energy discrimination mode. And there we thought, why shall we sell to those customers an expensive flagship like the TQ? Because they sell a lot of money that they never used. So our idea was to design a dedicated unit that is valid for this market in between a fully loaded TQ and a single quad. As mentioned, there are only some exceptions where this TQE cannot cover the full performance of a normal TQ. For example, PB, there you have got mercury, and you have to get rid of mercury with ammonia. So this is still the best solution for such applications. So in this case, you have to go for a little bit more expensive TQ solution. What I suggest when you have got such questions is a single quad the right instrument? Would the TQE do the job? Or do I have to go for a fully loaded triple quad? Please contact us requesting directly what kind of application you are running, and we can advise you, help you, guide you through the process, what would be the right offering. So next, for our ICP-MS part, we introduced recently a brand new torch. Our existing torch is a quite good torch, this quartz glass torch, originated from our optical ICP in Cambridge. So first time we worked with this, or we launched this kind of torch, was with the ICAP 6000 series in 2006. It's doing everything, it's performing like the torches of our friends, means competition, but quartz glass has got some limitation. So when it's coming to challenging matrices, like salinated samples, crude oils, especially crude oils with metal content inside, it comes to the limitation. So what could happen when you got lots of salts and metals, especially copper? Because when copper hits at 9,500 Kelvin, quartz glass, even smallest copper particles, it immediately resulted in such a picture like 1B. It's so-called spider crack. One little copper particle is enough to kill a complete torch, even when it was in the morning, brand new. And also flux fusion sample preparation. So when you have to put more energy into the sample digestion process, this gives also stress to the torch. We have got some customers, or let me say head customers, who had to buy every 2-3 weeks a new torch and injector. We started beginning of 2020 to supply secretly those customers with ceramic torches, and it turned out that this torch up to now did not die. So this customer with a torch that's plus 1.5 years old, they are still running the first ceramic torch, although in the past they had to buy every 2-3 weeks new torch and injector. But coming to another point, it's originated, as I mentioned, also from our optical ICP series. And in the optical ICP series, we haven't seen any negative. So the performance was fine. It never broke. We did not sacrifice and exhibit any sensitivity. And we expected the same on our ICP MS. So nothing negative, only more robustness. Great. So, but we had a big surprise there, especially for selenium. We realized that our background significantly dropped. This is for the reason the quartz glass is mainly made out of silicon. In this ceramic stuff, we have got also a little bit silicon, but the content is not so high. So after this burning this ceramic torch free, means run it for 3-4 hours, we have got a good background. Tricky point is, it was not only a better background, lower background means automatically higher sensitivity. It was valid for over the whole elemental table. So with our new Plus torch, we could say in our warranty specification, they are much higher than the specification that we do or in practice run with a normal glass torch. So our sensitivity is higher. As a takeaway, we could say on optical ICP, this ceramic torch does not have benefits except of the fact that it never breaks, but also no negative. But on ICP MS, this special ceramic torch has got only benefits. It should not break. Up to now, we haven't seen any customer breaking this torch or mineralizing or aging, and it's granting a better sensitivity. So it's a win-win torch, and we assume that for a little price upmark, most of our customers in the future will go for ICP MS with our new Plus torch. So we switch to optical ICP because I also have to keep my timing. We're going to show you now, on a webinar at least for the first time, our new optical ICP series, the so-called ICAP Pro series. And by the way, we are a little bit proud of this new unit. It's a predecessor from the ICAP 7000 series. It started with the ICAP 6000, followed by the ICAP 7000, and now we have got the ICAP Pro series. And it's not evolution, this time it's revolution, because more or less all the parts inside of this instrument are new. We have got a completely new optical tank. We have got a new camera that's coming from astronomy. It's installed on satellites for astronomy research. We have got a complete new torch box, super fast warm up time. So without low UV, you can run after 5 minutes. To have the complete spectrum, including UV, you have to wait for 15 minutes. But I think it's also for the whole spectrum, the fastest start up time. It's the smallest footprint, and we have got a fantastic mirror protection included. Because we interviewed, before we start the design, we interviewed our customers and also customers who are using units from the friends, again, competition. And one of their main claim was mirror protection and a corrosion of the torch box. And it was not easy to clean the torch box because there was not enough space. It was too small, the torch compartment. So we learned from our old mistakes and their mistakes, and we set up a completely new design for the units. Our optical ICP offering consists of 4 models. I focus mainly on the ICAP Pro X and Pro XP because these are the main sellers. By the way, here we mentioned typical measuring time for a sample is 2 minutes. That's even too long. You will later see that this main cellar unit is much faster. Faster means less iron consumption, less running cost. But I will show you some proof data in a moment. So easy and simple, vertical torch, common for all, new optics and a new camera and detector. But we're going to touch this point every individually. It's the smallest instrument, optical ICP on the market. When you gather also the overhangs from other units, it's very easy to install. Half a day is even too much. You can do it in 2-3 hours, and then you can start to train the users on the new instrument. And also it consists of a normal power plug and low fume extraction, making life easy and making it robust. So we have got a new open kitchen area. We call it kitchen area, this part here where the plasma is. It's protected by such a window. This window has also the feature when you open it, automatically the plasma switches off, that you cannot hurt yourself with this high temperature plasma burner. Going on. It's this torch box. It's the sliding door. It's great and easy, so you can monitor your torch. And you can, with 3 screws, you can dismount easily this torch box. That was one of the complaints of more or less all the users of a vertical torch, that it is not easy to clean the whole torch box. So this was made easy. And the customers are really happy about this feature, that it's so easy to clean. But by the way, we reduced also this corrosion and degradation in this torch box to a minimum. So we are in a quite good shape in comparison to our friends. We protect also our optical bench, so no gases, no heat, no temperature, analyte gases come into the optical tank. And it's protected by this so-called POP window, purchased optic protection window. So every dirt that comes is collected here on the 2 windows. We have got here 2 windows because we have got a dual viewing. We can look inside the plasma torch, or we can look from the side. So there is a periscope. You've got 2 options to view the plasma. It can be easily taken out, cleaned again, and put in. So our optics and our mirrors are never in contact with any analyte gases. So we could say they should last for a lifetime, very long at least. So here is a summary of all the specs. Optimized airflow. For example, for standby, we require only 0.4 liters in a minute. That's also really good, I would say. Eventually the best. I didn't check it from our competitor. It's really good. And to highlight that we have got a new detector and a new optical bench. We highlight this every time because when you look to our friends, you sometimes see detectors and optical benches that are 10 or even 20 years old. So it's simultaneous measurement, very fast. We could access more than 55,000 different wavelengths. So we can do wavelength dilution. So when we have got too much elemental concentration on wavelength number 1, we could switch over to 30, 40 different alternative wavelengths of this one element and look for the right distribution of the elements. You can call it also wavelength hopping. We are the only one, by the way, who can do it in this extent, because friends are limited to 180, 200, 250 wavelengths, and we have got 55K wavelengths we can do. We have got 2 different viewing modes for the low UV, the so-called standard mode, and when you want to have high performance, we have got the so-called enhanced UV mode, so you get a better performance in low UV. The whole optical bench is thermally insulated, and the detector is also cooled to -46. The principle here is as lower the detector temperature, as lower the dark current, means IR, heat. Heat is also a background noise, and as better the sensitivity is. The only thing you have to care when you have got a -degree cool detector, by the way, everybody in the market is doing it, but our competitors are going to -9 or -20, I don't know. When you have got a high humidity in your lab, you should purge it before you have dispensed it for some days. That no humidity can crack the detector, but that's valid for everybody in the market. We've got a brand new chip on this unit. What I mentioned, it's coming from satellite technology. It has got the highest pixel number, although in terms of optical ICP cameras, pixel is not the non-plus ultra, but it plays also a role. It is non-destructive readout. We're going to show it later. And it's off axis, so scattering light, the light does not hit it directly in 90 degrees. We eliminate optical scattering. So what is non-destructive readout? In the past, when we had been looking for one particular wavelength, example geochem, there we have got a lot of calcium, it might have been that the calcium wavelengths got oversaturated, got to the limit. And then when one wavelength was at its limit, this detector has to stop the measurement on all wavelengths. So let me say calcium, you've got an overflow and you have got a very small arsenic signal. Then the arsenic signal was cut off. Indeed, non-detectable, for example, for arsenic. What you had to do is you had to make a wavelength switch for calcium and then remeasure again, where calcium has got only, let me say, 5% of the signal intensity, that you can care about the arsenium peak, really gather the arsenium peak in the right way. With our new non-destructive readout, that every pixel reads out 3 times in a second and empties the wavelengths again. So it can collect calcium, 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 until we have got the full calcium signal, and also the very weak arsenium peak can be gathered. So we can measure with this new detector one element very high and the other very low, nearby the detection limit. That's a real advantage, also for cost saving and work saving. This high density of elements in a line had been called, or are called hot, so-called hot lines. So now we switch over a little bit to performance data, because we can say every time, we have the biggest, we are the best. It's about data. You have to show data. Here, stability data of our unit over a 12 hours run. It's thousands of measurements has been done there. And an overall RSD, I would say, for 1.5% average. So for this easy drinking water matrix, it's already quite good. And now we're coming to the real challenging stuff. It's 22% salt. You have to keep in mind, when more than 25% salt is in a water matrix, it turns from liquid to a solid. So when you've got more than 25% salt, it's in the middle between solid and liquid. You cannot really steer it, etc. And also here, with 25% salt, we have got an average of, I don't know, 1 or 1.1% for a sample run over 12 hours. So really good stability. Linearity, dynamic range, there is a lot of propaganda in this field. Some people say 9 magnitudes or more. We can also say 10 magnitudes, but normally real analysts are working in a range from 3 to 4, maximum 5. So here a lot of propaganda, but just to show you we can do it. And when you ask for dynamic range, you have to check for every wavelength, because every wavelength has got an individual dynamic order. In terms of sensitivity, this time we decided not to present a number. We can say, aluminium, we are doing 0.027 micrograms in a liter. That's it, full stop. But there is some background behind it. It's the so-called exposure times, means how long do you look at one specific element. And as longer you look at an element, as higher the sensitivity is. So we decided with our new instrument to present our sensitivity, including different exposure times, 30 seconds and 10 seconds. 10 seconds is a quite usable and normal exposure time. So we have to say we are really good here. We compared also the numbers with the numbers of our friends, competition, as long as they published them. And we are in a very good shape, I have to say. So coming to another point is running cost, speed of analysis, and argon consumption. So what we did not try to generate here the best measuring time, the fastest measuring time, the lowest gas consumption. Our exercise was based on a real life exercise. This means exposure time, 10 seconds. We checked for 100 wavelengths because we can do it. Nobody is interested in 100 elements. Normally you run 30, 20 elements, I don't know. But the numbers of elements are not relevant for our unit. But what we do is we repeated every measurement 3 times. So as a result of this exercise, every element repeated 3 times for quality reasons. We had a measuring time of only 1 minute and 4 seconds and a total argon consumption of 17.5 liters. When you screw this down and you do only 1 measurement with 10 seconds exposure time, no repeats, it's only 44 seconds and 12 liter argon. So in normal real life mode, I would say this is the fastest unit on the market and the lowest gas consuming, argon consuming instrument. Here just a lot of numbers. I'm smiling every time when I see this. This is just a proof of data, of concept, that we run this speed test really and did not invent it on a green table. So some remarks. We wanted to show you real life data, so what you're doing in your laboratory. We could have shown also PGM, platinum group metal. There we run 13 liters in a minute argon only, resulting in a lower argon gas consumption. But this is a specific application. We really want to show you the water, drinking water, tap water, wastewater application method, gas consumption. We could even do it faster when we taking the platinum group metals and adapt a fast sampler or a speed valve. In these times, we would run it around or below 20 seconds and only 4.4 liter gas consumption. But only a little people can afford and have a speed sampler. And just a little remark regarding some advertisement of our friends. They say, oh, you can run our unit with 9 liter argon. Yes, you can do it only for a limited number of samples. The unit runs out of official specifications, so all the performance suffers. And when you do it for 10, 20 samples measurements in a row, as argon is also the coolant for the torch, you may face a melting torch. So this is when the service engineer from our friend installs such a unit, they immediately say to the customer, forget about the 9 liter, go for plus 12 liter. That's the minimum. And that's also valid for us. So summary of our optical ICP series. Best over-the-all periodic table sensitivity. We checked and proved it. Let me say when you have got 30 elements, at least for 2025, we show the most sensitivity. Best real-life measuring time. So in practical measuring times, we are the best without simulating any speed advantages. Lowest real-life argon consumption. Best short and long-time stability. Most robust and easy to clean kitchen area. Easy demountable torch and injector. Smallest footprint. Footprint is money in our market. We offer for the radial orientated models also the torch injectors free of cost. So when you buy an XPS radial, you get a ceramic torch included. For all the other models, the ceramic torch, that's the one I was highlighting also for ICP-MS, is optional. Runs for all samples, and we can also say for such organic matrix like oil, we have got the first torch that you can easily and without any problems run in dual mode. So I would open now this thing for questions. Any questions?
Thank you, Burkhard. Колеги, ако имате въпроси, моля, пишете в чата. Ще ги зададем на колегата от Термо. Burkhard, no questions at the moment, but if exist later on, we will answer or will send to you, of course, anytime. And thanks a lot for your presentation.
Thanks a lot for your patience, everybody. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Продължаваме напред с програмата. Следва презентация за инфрачервени и Раман спектрометри, която ще направи господин Михал Климович. Михал, it's your turn.
Michal, do you hear me?
Yes, there was some
Yeah.
technical
Can you try
issues.
again, please, Michal?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay now. Thanks.
Yes.
It's okay.
Great. So, good afternoon. My name is Michal Klimovic, and in the next 30 minutes, we will talk about molecular spectroscopy with a focus on infrared and Raman spectroscopy. The agenda is pretty simple. Firstly, we will dig into the technique of Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, followed by Raman spectroscopy. As you will see, those techniques are very close to each other, providing us with a complex view of your analyses. Combining these techniques with microscopes, we can talk about microspectroscopy. At the end of our session, I will show you some of many applications where spectroscopy is helpful and I guess needed. But before all the mention, I would like to introduce the molecular spectroscopy sector from a more general point of view. Wikipedia defines spectroscopy as the study where the substance somehow interacts with electromagnetic radiation as a kind of energy. FTIR spectroscopy is based on the absorption of light by molecular vibrations. Raman spectroscopy uses the possibility of the molecule to scatter the light. The FTIR stands for Fourier transformed infrared, and the Fourier is the algorithm for the transformation of data into readable option. Raman refers to the Indian scientist who discovered the Raman scattering first and was even awarded by Nobel Prize in 1928 for that, I guess. Molecular spectroscopy can be defined by one easy sentence. You can work fast on a range of samples and answer basic or advanced questions. Molecular spectroscopy needs very little or no sample preparation, and spectra can be obtained in a range of seconds. Molecular spectroscopy deals with a wide variety of chemicals and forms. We can work with organics and inorganics, we can measure solids, liquids, gases, we can test pellets, powders, films, coatings, fibers, and many others. The measurement can reply to basic questions about the identity of the sample, its quantity, and its form. And if we want, we can answer the advanced parameters like the thickness of the surface, area distribution, the orientation of the molecules, the relationship between chemical and physical properties, and many others. One part of molecular spectroscopy can be even named vibrational spectroscopy. The reason behind this is that both techniques, FTIR and Raman, are based on molecular vibrations. A specific amount of energy, in our case light, causes the vibrations of molecular bonds. Each molecule has characteristic vibrational energies that provide a spectroscopic fingerprint. The record of spectrum can be matched against a database or even method. The spectrum provides us with the qualitative and quantitative analyses, and this can help us to answer some of the questions like, what is it? Is it as good as it needs to be? How much is present? Why do we even use it? Vibrational spectroscopy helps us in several areas of interest. For example, we need to be sure about the quality of incoming or outgoing material, and not only in QC labs, but also in the production process. We need to be able to identify unknown materials and their composition. We need to be able to understand the relationship of different parameters. Molecular spectroscopy, as fast and flexible technique, can determine identity, composition, and defects in material. Well-developed tools and rugged hardware components make the spectroscopy first-to-go analytical technique for fast materials screening in many areas of industry and research. FTIR spectroscopy. As mentioned before, the FTIR spectroscopy measures the remaining energy passing through the sample. FTIR is dependent on the change of dipole moment of the molecule. Therefore, it is highly sensitive to vibrations from heteronuclear functional groups and polar bonds. We can use FTIR for color substances and even the materials showing fluorescence. The light source, in our case infrared light, hits the sample. Some energy is absorbed as this energy is used to vibrate the bonds in molecules. The unabsorbed light hits the detector. The signal is moved to the computer and the algorithm of Fourier transformation is applied. As the result, we can see the spectrum of the sample. The source, sample, and detector are the parts of the unit we call spectrometer. The scheme of the FTIR spectrometer can be seen here. The heart of the IR spectrometer is called the interferometer, consisting of mirrors and beam splitter. In this part, each frequency of infrared light is created. The reference laser beam ensures the mirror is moved precisely. FTIR spectroscopy is non-destructive technique, which provides a precise measurement method and requires no external calibration. The spectrometer itself is mechanically simple with only one moving part, the mirror. FTIR spectroscopy can be used by different kinds of users for identification and verification, as well as for the development of new materials. There are many areas where it can be used as polymers, automotive, pharma, food, and many others, especially when we expand the setup to work with Raman, thermogravimetric analysis, gas chromatography, rheometry, and others. Thermo Fisher Scientific offers the product line of FTIR spectrometers as follows, as you can see on the slide. Starting with entry-level Nicolette Summit, ending with high performance and advanced Nicolette IS50R. These instruments can be used to identify unknown materials in forensics, art restoration. They can be used to conduct contaminant analysis in analytical service laboratories and gemology. They can be used to verify the chemical structure and mixture compositions in quality assurance lab. Our entry-level instrument, Nicolette Summit, can be defined as compact, capable, and connected. The instrument takes a very small footprint. A fully integrated Windows 10 computer with built-in Wi-Fi runs with the unit without the need of any additional PC. It means that you can control the unit via touchscreen or just attach the display, keyboard, and mouse, and you are ready to go. The state-of-the-art Omnic paradigm software lets you quickly execute customizable workflows to simplify analysis down just a few clicks. The cloud-based platform allows you to analyze data away from the instrument. We offer 4 different versions of the unit, including one which is dedicated to oil, liquid, and paste analysis. Nicolette IS20 is a perfect match for busy analytical laboratories. The redesigned optic engine comes with a 10-year warranty on the interferometer, laser, and IR source. The factory verified specifications such as signal-to-noise ratio and the best-in-class resolution improve spectral quality, leading to collecting the data even 30% faster than before. The accessory possibilities take the analysis to the next level. The Nicolette IS20 seamlessly integrates with our FTIR microscopes and TGA systems. The TGA compartment, standing for thermogravimetric analysis, can be seen on the picture. The modular system of Nicolet IS50 offers everything that you would need from the modern future-proof spectrometer. The unit can be equipped with a wide range of sources, beam splitters, and detectors. The changes for spectral ranges are automatic with no need for manual alignment. The instrument can be coupled with a huge amount of dedicated accessories like sample compartments and fibers. Possibility of having a different kinds of modules enables complete analysis of the sample in one step. It means that you can load the sample and get the information from Raman analysis, ATR analysis, and NNR analysis. We call it just walk away and come back to a combined report. As an example, you can see the built-in ATR Raman module here. Besides those, you can equip the Nicolet IS50 with a module for near-infrared analysis, or with a module for gas chromatography, or with a module for gravimetric analysis, or with microscope. In case you are wondering which instrument is the best fit for your needs, we can help you with the guide, or you can always come to Christo and Andon. For heavy industrial customers, we have Nicolet IG50 modular system, which can be easily integrated into the production process. At the bottom of the slide, you can see the combinations I have talked about recently. ATR, Raman module, TGA, thermogravimetric, NIR module, and the combination with a gas chromatograph. Our product range covers all needs for your application. Choosing the right instrument for your current and future application is essential. Are you interested only in mixtures and surfaces? Then go with Nicolet Summit. Are you interested in the formulation and contaminant analysis? Do you want to couple it with microscope? Then go with IS20. Are you interested in crystallinity and density of the material? Do you want to check the isomers? Are you into the optical properties of newly developed products? Do you want to cover all infrared spectrum? Then go with IS50. As you can see, whatever your interest is, we got you covered. And now, Raman spectroscopy. The second spectroscopy technique I would like to talk about is Raman. Raman spectroscopy measures the energy, in this case coming from the monochromatic light of the laser, which is scattered by the sample. Raman scattering is dependent on the change of polarizability of the molecule. Therefore, it is highly sensitive to vibrations from homonuclear bonds like covalent bonds. Most sensitivity is shown to highly symmetrical vibrations like carbon-carbon or silicon-silicon. One of the advantages of Raman spectroscopy is its possibility to measure through transparent and translucent walls. It means that you can easily detect what's inside of the sealed container, especially forensics guys like this feature. In contrary to FTIR, the Raman technique can be used for water solutions. The Raman is a vibrational spectroscopy technique. By illuminating a sample with a laser, the monochromatic light source, our sample will be excited. The excitation will cause the molecule to vibrate and emit some kind of scattered radiation. This radiation is used to build a spectrum. That spectrum can be used to identify or quantify our sample. The laser, sample, and detector are the parts of the unit we again call spectrometer. To observe the Raman spectrum, it is necessary to separate the collected Raman scattered light into its composite wavelengths. In dispersive Raman instruments like ours, this is accomplished by focusing the Raman scattered light onto the diffraction grating, which splits the beam into its constituent wavelengths. These are directed onto a detector. Raman spectroscopy, as a non-destructive technique, again, provides a precise measurement method that requires minimal or no external sample preparation. The spectrometer is often coupled with a microscope. Raman spectroscopy can be used by different kinds of users for identification or verification of the materials. We can get more detailed information about molecular symmetry, molecular orientation, crystallinity, or morphological traits. Thermo Fisher Scientific offers the product line of Raman spectrometers as follows. The IXR, the first one, IXR Raman spectrometer, was developed specifically for integration with other analytical tools like XPS or rheology. That allows measurements at the same point and the same time alongside primary or complementary measurement. The sample is measured under identical conditions, ensuring confidence in correlation. One of the most versatile characteristics of Raman spectroscopy is its ease of sampling. With minimal preparation, samples can be analyzed through the glass and plastic packaging. The DXR Smart Raman is a true walk-up and run spectrometer. You can analyze a wide variety of samples, including liquids in glass bottles, samples in plastic packages, powders and slurries in multiple plates, tablets, samples in tubes, cuvettes. Besides the ones pictured here, the instrument can be equipped with the universal plate holder, cryogenic, heated, or electrochemical cells, or fiber optic sampling. The DXR and DXR-XI Raman microscopes offered stability, precision, and simplicity for your tasks. The software is very intuitive and makes parameter optimization easy. Auto alignment and calibration ensure accurate measurements without tools or manual procedures. Autofocus helps with tracking the location. Automatic backgrounds compensates for natural electronic and optical system conditions. As you could see, both techniques, FTIR and Raman, are based on the molecular vibrations which come from the interaction with the light source. FTIR works with the absorption of the infrared light. Raman works with the scattering of the laser light. FTIR needs the change on dipole. Raman needs the change in polarizability. End groups are shown in FTIR spectrums, while backbone groups are shown in the Raman spectrum. So in the end, the techniques complement each other, and together they are very powerful for material characterization. Therefore, the headline FTIR versus Raman would be rather changed to FTIR and Raman. They work the best together. Putting the spectrum next to each other gives us precise information about our sample, about our material. For example, here you can see the polystyrene. The vibrations, which cannot be seen in the FTIR spectrum, are easily recognized in the Raman spectrum and opposite. As I said, they work the best together. As you can see, the peaks reach the maximum at heteronuclear bonds at FTIR and homonuclear bonds at Raman. For both cases, we can use the search tool in our software, and as a result, we obtain the match to the polystyrene formula. The spectrums shows the areas which are characteristic of certain types of vibrations, and together they give us an idea about the composition and compound. In many cases, it makes sense to combine vibrational spectroscopy with a microscope. And as it becomes a very popular combination, we can even talk about the separate area called microspectroscopy. We can combine even the entry-level Nicolette Summit with a microscopy accessory, which becomes a very useful tool in quality control laboratories. As mentioned before, we can combine Nicolette IS-20 with an infrared microscope, getting the single point analysis instrument. Using the Nicolette IS-50 with Nicolette Continuum microscope provides us with the possible area analysis with spatial resolution up to 10 microns. Nicolette IN10 and IN10MX are standalone FTIR instruments with an integrated microscope. DXR Raman microscope can work with resolution up to 1 micron, giving us exceptional performance, especially with morphology analysis. As an example, which you can see on the slide, you can easily check the distribution, in this case, the distribution of caffeine on the surface of the tablet, and not only on the surface, but also in a cross-section or layer testing for transparent samples. On the left picture, you can see the chemical map of the tablet surface, and on the right, you can work with a certain substance to check the area, distribution, and other parameters. And all of this without destroying the material, which is very important. A microspectroscopy is a great tool for chemical analysis in many areas of interest. You can find defects and contaminants in electronics, or you can map the multi-layered films consisting on different polymers, or you can identify evident traces in forensic analysis. Combination of vibrational spectroscopy and microscopy is worth thinking about having it. As I mentioned before, the vibrational spectroscopy finds its use in various areas of interest. In the next few minutes, I would like to share with you some of the applications where FTIR and Raman spectroscopy suit as great tools for your tasks. The world around us is polluted, unfortunately. Some of the pollutions can be seen, some can be smelled, but in many cases, none of those are obvious. Just like with microplastics. As microplastic can be considered a polymer particle of size between 1 and 5,000 microns. These particles can be found everywhere in oceans and seas, in air, in food and drinks, and even in injectables and blood transfers, and unfortunately in our bodies as well. Causing serious health issues, the activities to reduce the microplastic content have started. The legislation follows these efforts. Pharma companies, water treatment companies, and health-related industries needs to check the content of the particle. Thermo Fisher Scientific offers the complete setup and guide for microplastic checking and analysis. With various methods, you can easily isolate and identify the microplastics and get more information about their sizes and concentrations. As you can see, we have published several application notes dealing with the microplastic issue, which can help you with choosing the right instrument and the right methodology for your analysis. You can start with Nicolet Summit as the entry unit and end with high-performance Raman microscope. Every task can be answered by our solution. One of the areas where vibrational spectroscopy and specifically microspectroscopy excel is forensics. The non-destructive nature of microspectroscopy and its ability to analyze with only a small amount of sample makes it ideal for the sample evidence usually associated with forensic investigations. Forensics and crime lab samples can range from drugs to fibers. Some of these samples can be quite small, and light microscopes are often used to help examine the evidence. The visual aid of an optical microscope can provide investigators with a clearer picture of the evidence, especially at the microplastic level. However, sometimes both visual and chemical information is needed. That is where microspectroscopy plays an important role. Counterfeiting money is one of the oldest criminal activities now. But with the help of the FTI microscope, the criminals have no chance anymore. Pharma companies face many challenges during the development and production of drugs. The right ratio of active ingredients is a must. The same stands for quality of incoming raw material and checking the outgoing products. For qualitative and quantitative analysis, the use of vibrational spectroscopy is very beneficial. You can easily identify the substance and its polymorphic forms. You can study the stability of a drug in time with exposure to humidity. You can check the structure and homogeneity of the produced tablets or products of the hot melt extrusions. Here you can see again some kind of application notes which we already published and which are focused on pharma industry. The range of applications where vibrational spectroscopy can offer the ideal solution is quite wide. Just think about hand sanitizers, polymers, graphene, potato chips, beer, nicotine patches, breathing air. We are just there. More details and inspiration can be found in the sources that I mentioned below. You can find their FTIR and German Academy, as well as webinars and chemistry in classroom projects. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Michal, for this presentation. Колеги, въпроси имате ли? Презентацията на Михал за инфрачервени спектрометри Раман. Знаете, по всяко време може да се обръщате към нас, било тук по време на семинара или в последствие за въпроси, свързани с всяка апаратура или приложение, което предлагаме. Michal, no question at the moment. If exists, we will contact you or we will answer. Thanks again for your presentation.
Yeah, my pleasure. Have a nice day. Thanks.
Have a nice day. Колеги, следва почивка до 2:20. Да се разведрим, да пием по кафе всички. И продължаваме в 2:20 с представяне на UV спектрофотометри и нанодроп. Благодаря и може да останете на линия докато се включим отново. Marta, we will continue in 2:20 with you.
Yes, thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
Здравейте отново, колеги! Можем да продължим по програма с презентацията на Марта за UV спектрофотометри и нанодроп. Марта, you can start, it's your turn. Now we
Thank you
can
very much.
see
Good
yes,
afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
yes, we hear.
Can see my screen as well.
Yes, we can see.
I didn't share my screen, but right now it looks that everything works.
Yes.
Let's start. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the presentation. Thank you for invitation as well to Anton and Christoph for giving me an opportunity to share the news from UVV's portfolio. My name is Marta. I'm channel manager responsible for thermo UVV spectrophotometers in Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Current UVV's portfolio consists of micro-volume nanodrop family and cuvette-based UVV's Genesis and Evolution series. Today, I would like to introduce you especially to our brand new devices that we have launched 1 month ago. Let's start with nanodrop family. Nanodrop is used in many molecular biology workflows in applications such as PCR, RT-PCR. Life science workflows start with usually pretty messy stuff like tissues or cells, from which scientists extract and purify nucleic acids and proteins. Nanodrop provides a relatively simple device that is key to moving on to the next step, let's say. Scientists want to know the concentration and how pure is the sample. Concentration is important early in the workflow, but how pure becomes equally important as you get closer to the final assay, because residual chemicals can be left behind during the extraction, and purification step can affect the quality of the results from the downstream experiment. Nanodrop is micro-volume spectrophotometer that allows to measure concentration using only 1 to 2 microliters of sample. It's widely used in laboratories worldwide. The simplest is our standalone instrument, which is called Nanodrop Lite. It has limited detection up to 1000 nanogram per microliters of double-stranded DNA. And it measures only at 260 and 280 nanometers. So it gives only information about the purified proteins and measures just the double-stranded DNA and RNA. So just to add, it doesn't give the spectral scan, and as well, it doesn't give us information about the purity ratios, 8 to 60 over 8 to 80. Our flagship model is the Nanodrop 1 and 1C. This is the as well standalone unit. It has very wide detection limit, up to 27,500 nanograms per microliter. It gives already the full spectrum, so you can measure the different types of samples. It has possibility to optional cuvette port. So you have the instrument NanoDrop 1C is equipped with the cuvette shaft, and C stands, of course, for cuvette. So this is how you recognize this model. This instrument replaces the NanoDrop 200, very well-known instrument, which is already discontinued. And the biggest value of the NanoDrop 1 is Aclaro sample contaminant analysis. This is the special software that gives information about the contaminants in the sample. I will speak more deeply about Aclaro contaminant technology later. And NanoDrop 1 as well have the possibility to be operated via PC. It is especially important for the regulated environments like the pharma companies that needs to be compliant with 21 CFR Part 11. The newest in the family is NanoDrop 8, and today I will focus on it the most. It has the best features from the NanoDrop 1. Those features are implemented, and it is the high throughput instrument that you can measure up to 8 samples in the same time. It has as well a quite wide detection limit. It gives a full spectrum like the NanoDrop 1. But in this case, you need to have PC for the operation of that instrument. And this instrument replaces NanoDrop 8000, which is just recently discontinued. NanoDrop 1 arrives with pre-configured applications. It measures nucleic acids, purified double-stranded DNA, single-stranded DNA, RNA, oligos, and nucleic acids bound to dyes. It measures as well proteins. This includes purified proteins and proteins bound to dye. And it measures proteins in complex mixtures using colorimetric assays. Custom methods provides user a method to quantify absorbance for substance for which we don't have hard-coded application. It as well allows to measure cell density and to perform simple kinetics. Simple kinetics is possible only for the cuvette-based instrument. Our new NanoDrop 8 UV-Vis spectrophotometer is ideal for pharma, biotech, and academic researchers measuring a larger number of nucleic acids and protein samples. It measures 8 samples at a time in less than 20 seconds. As well as NanoDrop 1, it has built-in Aclaro sample intelligence technology. Software that identifies sample contaminants and reports true sample concentration. It has as well the increased detection limits, which is especially helpful for protein studies. So in the new instrument, we have better sample quantity and quality assessment, as well measurement speed improvements. By implementing auto measure and auto blank functions, multi-sample processing can be streamlined with instant measurements that occur when the pedestal arm is down. These functions can be turned on and turned off. Additionally, a new NanoDrop 8, comparing to old NanoDrop 8000 model, offers free path length, which gives a wider dynamic range. Wider dynamic range allows measuring higher concentration samples without dilutions. and it measures up to 10,000 nanogram per microliter of double-stranded DNA. The wavelength spectrum was broadened as well to enable measuring, for example, peptide backbones at 0 nanometers or other peptides and proteins above 750 nanometers. What contaminants can Aclaro contaminant technology detect? The Aclaro reference libraries currently support detection of protein, RNA, phenol, DNA in RNA samples, and guanidine HCl in double-stranded DNA samples. They also support detection of DNA in protein samples. In the future, additional contaminants will be added to the libraries. Contaminants from nucleic acids extraction kits, for example, phenol, absorb UV light in the same region of the UV spectrum as nucleic acids. The presence of these contaminants can lead to an inflated nucleic acid concentration. Guanidine salts are powerful protein denaturants that can affect enzyme and polymerase activity in downstream experiments. How do we know contaminants are pain points for researchers? We have asked over 500 researchers and together identified the most common one. Aclaro algorithm can identify mammalian RNA contaminating double-stranded DNA samples, or mammalian double-stranded DNA contaminating mRNA samples. And the good news is that this software was with the DNA and RNA detection was released 1 year ago, but it can be downloaded from our website for free, even for the users that bought NanoDrop before that time. The Aclaro sample intelligence technology built into NanoDrop is a quantitative method for contaminant identification by using a chemometric approach to analyze the chemical components present in a sample. Aclaro software uses algorithms that rely on reference library of spectra. These algorithms are then applied to the sample spectrum, and the software can make predictions about the presence and identify of contaminants by using chemometric mathematical principles. The Aclaro contaminant ID feature can detect protein, as I mentioned, phenol and guanidine salts. These results screen show that the Aclaro algorithm have detected contaminants in this double-stranded DNA sample, represented by the yellow triangle. So whenever you see a yellow triangle, it means that there is a contaminant in the sample. To find out what contaminants the Aclaro software has identified and to obtain the corrected DNA concentration, simply you need to tap the yellow icon to open the contaminant analysis screen shown below. The Aclaro contaminant analysis screen presents important information about the sample. The original concentration and purity ratio results are shown on the top row. This is the calculated concentration result called original before contaminant corrections have been applied. The second row, labeled corrected, shows two values. The first value is the corrected concentration of the analyte in the sample in nanogram per microliters. The analyte in this example is double-stranded DNA as indicated in the lower left corner on the screen. The corrected results is the analyte concentration after contaminant correction has been applied. This value is the software predicted concentration for the pure nucleic acid component in the sample. The second value is the percent CV, which represents the confidence in the prediction. The lower the percent CV number, the more confident we are in the corrected concentration predicted by the software. The third row identifies the impurity that is present. In that case, it is protein, and reports how much absorbance at 260 nanometers is contributed by the contaminant. In this case, the percent CV represents the confidence in the contaminant identity prediction. In Nanodrop 8, the new instrument has improved. Nanodrop 8 has improved ergonomics. A pedestal array is aligned to the front of the instrument, creating a natural pipetting motion for users. The pipette guide is magnetic and movable from side to side, allowing left and right-handed users to quickly and comfortably dispense samples. For the Nanodrop 8, we offer optional SciVault software, which helps for the users to be compliant with US FDA 21 CFR Part 11 regulation. SciVault software integrates into device software user interface, integrates into the device software user interface, and user will see it on the home screen. This software controls user account access, apply digital signatures, and review audit logs. It can as well be used to network multiple instruments. So you can install SciVault software on a central computer to control privileges and view audit logs across multiple Nanodrop 8 instruments in different labs. We have as well possibility to work in LIMS environment. Automated exports from LIMS are available. Just need to set a directory for data to be automatically exported, and have your LIMS software sweep the folder to pull in Nanodrop 8 instrument data for archiving. And of course, on our website, you can find much more information, brochures, applications, application notes, and videos. Right now, I will jump from microvolume cuvette based instrument from microvolume to cuvette based instruments. Just recently launched evolution series. So our current evolution series consists of 4 models. Evolution 201 has fixed bandwidth, while 3 other, evolution 220, evolution 260, and evolution 350 has variable bandwidth. Right now, evolution 201 transition into evolution 1, and evolution 220, together with evolution 260, transition to evolution 1+, which will additionally have life science methods in the software. Evolution 350 will be replaced by Evolution Pro. However, this new instrument will have better performance and compatibilities comparing to the old models. The most important improvements are introduced in new software. Here I'm presenting similarities and differences between new models that can help you to choose the right instrument for your lab. Let's start with the common features. All of the models have double beam optics for stable measurements and uses a xenon flash lamp as a light source, which has a long life. They all meet current 21 CFR Part 11 regulations and EP and USB pharmacopoeia requirements. Additionally, Evolution Pro meets Japanese pharmacopoeia due to superior performance and advanced analytical capabilities. And what are the differences? So Evolution 1 is mainly used in routine quality control applications, while Evolution 1 Plus can be used for both quality control and complex applications. So you can do kinetics using Peltier accessory, or you can connect Evolution 1 Plus to integrated sphere for transmission or reflectance measurements. Evolution Pro is the most advanced UV spectrophotometer in our portfolio, with better capabilities than Evolution 1 Plus. And this instrument has a selectable bandwidth for peak resolution, and you can also optimize the performance for advanced applications. Additionally, the double beam optics come with the reference position detector for better stability. It can accommodate larger accessories like praying mantis or VMAX. Evolution Pro comes with an option of mercury lamp that eliminates risk of solution standards being compromised. From design perspective, in Evolution 1 and Evolution Plus, we have new larger sample compartment, new top housing and bottom cover, and new status light pipe. Similar design changes were introduced to Evolution Pro. Except larger sample compartment, there is metal tray designed for temporarily placing accessory or other samples, which save more space area, and it is easy for operation. In previous models, we had several options for the software. We had inside base software, inside bio with pre-programmed life science methods, inside auto for integrating auto samplers, and inside with security. Right now, Inside Pro combines 3-in-1 as a basic software, and only security software is optional. This is introducing new software that uses new user interface. The new Inside Pro software is easy to learn and very easy to use. This is prompting software that reduces training time by optimization of user interface. There are defined clear step-by-step workflows that are easy to teach, learn, and use. In general, reliable results are very essential components of quality control analysis. Our software has all the tools to compare standard curves based on peak area or use concentration limits to define a requirement for standards and samples. The software as well provides full spectrum analysis to identify nearly 100 peaks and valleys and calculate the area of the peak. Researchers can prevent costly sampling and measurement errors by creating dedicated workflows for complex assays. and transform multi-step workflows into one simplified, easy-to-follow method suitable for any user level with QA, which means customized user environment. Whether it is user inputs, application requirements, or new regulations, Insight Pro software is continuously improving with quick upgrades to deliver greater capabilities and efficiencies for your lab needs. Integrity of scientific data is assured with thermoscientific Insight Pro security software. Insight Pro security software helps stay compliant. It includes all of the benefits of Insight Pro software with added security for ensuring integrity of scientific data required by pharmaceutical, biotech companies and academics working in FDA-regulated studies. It complies with US FDA 21 CFR Part 11 by controlling user access, apply digital signatures, implement controls, view electronic audit trails for reliable electronic documentation. Database storage ensures electronic records are properly maintained for FDA submissions. And it allows retrieving data from history. It allows as well real-time storage of each experimental data, searching by experiment name, application, and time range. Industries and universities have different preferences in terms of connection. There is an option to network single or multiple instruments. You can install Insight Pro security software on a central PC to control privileges and view audits. You can as well log across multiple evolution units in different locations. We offer Mercury lamp option, which is primary reference standard. It allows a seamless validation and calibration of the instrument. FDA recommends it as a standard. In the new device, we have a larger size sample compartment that accommodates larger customized accessories. We offer wide accessory selection with various temperature control options, sample changers, zippers, and solid sampling devices that can complete your analysis. There is Peltier single cell holder or a smart 8-cell Peltier system for temperature control and sample monitoring from 0 to 100 degrees. This makes our instruments ideal for broad applications in pharma research, QA and QC, academic research, chemistry, food and beverages, materials, and biological studies. Here is the summary of which accessory can be used with which model. As I have mentioned before, Evolution Pro has the best capacity for that. And just to summarize, what brings the new instruments comparing to the old instruments, it gives us a lot of advantages by reducing photometric noise. It gives improvements in stray light. It improves sample compartment size. We have the larger compartment, the sample compartment size. We have new industrial design and new software with big changes in important features. All three new Evolution spectrophotometers will include Insight Pro software, and most of the accessories for the previous generation will be compatible with the instruments of the new generation. And of course, on our website, you can find much more information, brochures, application notes, and videos. Please as well feel free to contact us at Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Marta, for the presentation. Имате ли въпроси по презентацията за UV-VC NanoDrop? Колеги? За момента не виждам, но и по-късно да ги зададете ще отговорим. Marta, thanks for the presentation. So many new instruments in UVV range.
Thank you very
No
much.
question.
No
Yes,
questions.
no questions at the moment, but we will answer if they are later on.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Сега по презентация, следва моя презентация, ще се наложи да си дам думата сам. Значи, вече съм готов за политик, след като си давам думата сам. Надявам се, че се вижда екрана добре и се чувам. Колеги, знаете, че основните група продукти, които предлагаме, са специализирано аналитично оборудване на Thermo-Scientific, но наред с това предлагаме и системи и друга апаратура, които са част от пробоподготовка или са елемент от всяка една аналитична лаборатория. Такива са и системите за пречистване и чиста и ултрачиста вода на Елга Veolia, в частност Елга Lab Water, които са част от Елга Veolia. Ще представя първо основната група продукти за лабораторни системи за чиста и ултрачиста вода. Това е серията PureLab, която включва PureLab Horace и PureLab Flex. PureLab Horace има в варианти Horace 2 и 3. Съответно, според наименованието, производство на вода с чистота тип 2 и тип 3. PureLab Horace 2+, която е с чистота тип 2 и малко повече от тип 2. И PureLab Horace 1, която има в разновидности за обща аналитична химия, Life Science и PureLab Horace 1 Complete, която е система за ултрачиста вода, която директно се захранва от водопроводната мрежа. От серията Flex наличните системи са PureLab Flex 1 и 2, които се нуждаят да се захранят от предварително пречистена вода, за да произвеждат вода тип 1 или ултрачиста, и PureLab Flex 3 и 4, които произвеждат ултрачиста вода, след като са се захранени директно от водопроводната мрежа. Някои от характеристиките съответно на тип вода 1, 2 и 3 са показани тук и съответно кой модел би могъл да произведе съответната пречистена вода. Няма да влизам в момента в подробности за спецификация на отделните системи. Има налични спецификации и брошури в интернет пространството на нашия сайт, както разбира се и винаги, когато желаете, може да се обърнете към нас за повече информация. Настоящата презентация основно има за цел да покаже най-новата система от серията PureLab за ултрачиста вода, която е PureLab Quest. Като ще покажа някои от основните възможности, приоритети и всичко свързано с нейната работа. PureLab Quest е компактна система, както се вижда и на картинката. Основното предимство, че това е първата система на пазара, която може да подава вода с трите вида чистота тип 1, тип 2 и тип 3 от една кутия, така както я виждате. Това е резултат наистина от доста дълъг период от работа на колегите и специалисти от Elga Lab Water, което като компактност и като възможност на системата наистина се е получила една доста добра система с големи предимства. Аз, както казах, основното предимство на PureLab Quest е това, че има възможност за конфигурация, така че от една кутия да получим 3 вида пречистена вода. Някои от основните приложения, за които се използват пречистена вода, са показани тук. Вода тип 1 за аналитични цели при анализ с течна йодна хроматография, мас спектрометрия при изучаване на анализ на клетъчни култури, вода тип 2 за производство на буфери, при хистологията, стабилни pH разтвори, вода тип 3 за общо лабораторни цели и така нататък. Системата PureLab Quest е налична в два варианта, PureLab Quest UV и само PureLab Quest. Повечето, които работите с системи за чиста вода, разбират, че самото наличие на UV в модела означава, че има UV лампа, която е необходима при работа за получаване на ултрачиста вода тип 1 и е необходима UV лампа за микробиологични онечиствания. Самата конфигурация на системата, в зависимост от... Тук е показан случая, в който е налична UV лампа. Имаме обратна осмоза, имаме вграден резервоар 7 литра, имаме UV лампа 185-254 нанометра излъчване, имаме касета за отнемане на иони и съответно по-късно ще спомена и крайни филтри от точката на потребление. За да получим тип 1 вода, са налични всички консумативи или хардуер, който вече изброих. Обратна осмоза, резервоар, UV лампа, касета за ионни очиствания и точка за получаване на вода, в която можем да добавим различни филтри. Тук е моментът да добавя, че от резервоара водата, която преминава покрай UV лампата и през ионоочистващата касета, циркулира за гаранция на получената ултрачиста вода. За получаване на тип вода 2 имаме само обратна осмоза и тук не са показани и останалите компоненти, но те са необходими за получаване, имам предвид ионообменната касета, която е необходима за получаване на вода тип 2. Не са показани, но изхода за получаване на тип вода 2 от резервоара, като качеството на водата се поддържа, както казах, се осигурява от непрекъсната рециркулация на водата. Но тъй като не се ползва от точката за получаване на ултрачиста вода, то тя е вода тип 2. И разбира се, вода тип 3, която се ползва след очистване само с обратна осмоза и останалите компоненти не са необходими за нейното получаване. Някои от основните параметри на трите типа вода, които аз няма да влизам в детайли, могат да се видят по брошури и спецификации. Основното, което искам да кажа тук е, че потреблението на вода от тази система е препоръчително да бъде до 10 литра на ден за потребление на вода тип 1 и 2 и до 30 литра на ден при потребление на вода тип 3. Тоест тя се е за абсолютно лабораторни цели и не повече. Имам предвид, има лаборатории, които свършват системата към миялна машина. Това не е система, която би вършила работа за това. Основните предимства, които са на новата система PureLab Quest. Размера и дизайна е първото, което мога да изтъкна. Тук е даден пример, вариант на конкурентен производител, който за да имаме вода тип 1 и тип 2 от една система са необходими две такива, докато вече в нашия случай можем да имаме само една такава. Това разбира се, вози след себе си много предимства за лабораторията. Повечето знаете, че мястото е кът и една такава система винаги е добре дошла. Ширината, както е показано тук, е 23 см, което е достатъчно и полезно за осигуряване на повече пространство в лабораторията. По-голямата част от системите са направени от материали, които се рециклират. Виждате зеления знак. Зеленият знак е особено актуален. Знаете, зелен сертификат. Тук този е малко по-различен, но отново е зелен. Трябва да мислим повече в тая посока. С системата е наличен и софтуер, с помощта на който могат да се запаметяват различни методи за качество на вода, за количество, което ни трябва, както и да следим историята на системата, като грешки, диагностика, подобряване на софтуер, да следим качеството на водата, да следим времето, за което трябва да се сменят консумативи. Върху системата наистина е работено дълго време и са работени специалисти от отдел за наука и развитие на ЕЛГА, за да достигнем до резултата, който е наличен. Правени са много тестове и анализи, докато получим системата във всеки един аспект, в който я виждаме. Това, за да имаме различен тип вода, естествено е свързано с технологията като рециркулация, която показах, с различните сензори, които на различен етап проверяват качеството на водата, което от своя страна е гаранция за въпросното качество. Знаете, за много анализи за лабораторни цели това е задължително и наложително. Повечето техники в днешно време и ние самите се сблъскваме ежедневно с това, са свързани с аларми, които ни подсещат за това или за друго и ни спестяват, разбира се, писане, дневници и бездневници. Системата е свързана изцяло има аларми, които сигнализират за тогава, когато трябва да се профилактира или трябва да се сменят касети, което е улеснение за всеки един от нас. Инсталацията е изключително лесна, като се стига до там, че просто се включва в електрическата мрежа и се захранва с вода и е необходим, разбира се, отводен канал за отпадната вода и нищо повече. С включването системата е готова за работа. Много интуитивен дисплей, с който се контролира и можем да набавим нужното ни количество и качество вода. Постоянно показва чистотата на водата. Разбира се, може да задаваме точно количество вода, което да не бъде отмерено. Поток на водата, който достига до 1,5 литра на минута, което е повече от достатъчно за лабораторни цели. Улеснен вариант за поддръжка, като консумативите могат да се сменят от потребителя, наистина системата е направена така, че това да може да се случва лесно, с възможност за достъп и отпред и отзад на системата. Това, което вече казах, всъщност системата може да се достига и от двете места и лесно се сменят консумативите. Някои от основните консумативи, без които, разбира се, не може, обратна осмоза, която премахва по-голямата част от онечистванията. Това е филтър на резервоара, който всъщност предпазва от въздушно замърсяване в въздух. Касетата, която е за премахване на иони. И разбира се, крайни филтри за получаване на ултрачиста вода, които са или за размер на частиците 0,2 микрона, или за микробиологични, в зависимост от приложението, за което ни трябва водата. Към системата може да се добави и комплект за предварително третиране или умекотяване, ако мога да кажа, който се поставя преди системата, т.е. извън нея. Включва и регулатор на потока, т.е. за уеднаквяване на входната вода, която се подава към системата, което води до предпазване на консумативите вътре и съответно тяхната по-честа смяна. Това беше съвсем накратко. Надявам се, че е било полезно. Ако имате въпроси, разбира се, съм на среща сега или по-късно. Виждам, че за сега няма. Благодаря за вниманието. Сега остана и да чуете и последната презентация на колегата ми Светослав, който ще ви запознае с основните продукти в фармацевтичния анализ на фирма РВК.
Здравейте, добър ден на всички. Надявам се да се чуваме.
Чуваме се, да.
Чува се, да, всичко е
вижда.
наред.
Казвам се Светослав Радовски и съм търговски представител към фирма АСМ2, както и колегата Христо Йорданов вече спомена, освен продуктите на Thermo Scientific, които представляваме, и с още няколко компании. Една от тях е фирма РВК, фирма производител на тестери за фармацевтично оборудване, фармацевтичен анализ, като в кратък план ще се опитам да ви представя продуктовата листа. Знам, че фирма РВК е позната на голяма част от хората, занимаващи се с фармация в България. Вече от много години е на пазара. В най-общ план продуктите на РВК за фармацевтичен тестове и фармацевтичен анализ по физико-механични показатели са разделени на три групи. Solution тестери или тестери за по-показател степен на разтваряне на активно вещество, физико-механични или физични тестери и така нареченото R&D оборудване. Фармацевтични Solution тестерите покриват изцяло методите по USP 1, 2, 5 и 6, като най-общ план Solution тестерите се разделят на така наречени low head и high head, определящи мястото и позицията на разбъркващите прибори спрямо съдовете на ваната, като предимство при low head разположението това е изключително намаленото изпаряване на средата. При тази конфигурация се използва в случаите на автоматично правовземане и хай-хед или високо разположената платформа прибори е в моделите, които са основно за ръчно правовземане. Като трета позиция на приборите, така наречената cleaning position или позиция, когато апаратът е в процес на почистване. Като линии или като серии Solution тестери, които се предлагат, това са така наречените DT Lite и новата серия DT 950. При DT Lite са общи линии бюджетна серия Solution тестери с 6 или 8 позиции, винаги с високо разположена платформа на разбъркващите прибори, като стандартно тези модели са конфигурирани по съответствие с USB 2 или т.е. с лопатки като разбъркващи прибори, но има опция да бъдат и с кошнички съгласно USB 1 метод. Възможна е и конфигурация от DT Lite серията 1212, която е с 12 съда за пробите в случай, когато работим при по-голямо натоварване, по-голям брой проби или възможност за анализ на две партиди едновременно. DT 950 е една серия на практика представена тази година. При нея са възможни 6, 7 или 8 съда конфигурация. При този модел платформата може да бъде високо разположена, ниско разположена, high-head или low-head, като вече споменах, в зависимост от нуждите. Като този модел има възможност да покрива методи по USB 1, 2, 5 и 6. Доста иновативен дизайн с вграден софтуер, тачскрин и софтуер, който е под Linux платформа. Все още е наличен модела DT820, който обаче от следващата година предстои да бъде спрян с 6 или 8 съда за разтваряне, като този модел все още е на разположение, тъй като основно при него се конфигурира, когато е необходим работа в офлайн режим. DT950 серията позволява конфигуриране под външен компютър с отделен софтуер DSO.NET при необходимост в офлайн, онлайн или он-офлайн режим. Както ви споменах, за DT820 има възможност конфигуриране в офлайн режим с фракшен колектор, в зависимост от броя на съдовете, които работи апарата 6 или 8, съответно и моделът на фракшен колектор за събиране на пробички с различен брой проветки или HPLC филиали, които директно да се събира пробата от извършения тест. Има възможност този модел да бъде с по-голям брой съдове, 12 или 14, също съгласно USP методи 1, 2, 5 и 6, но така или иначе този модел предстои да бъде заменен от новата серия 950, която се очаква да стане през 2022 година. Подробно ще ви запозная с модела 950. Как казах вече, изцяло дизайн, изцяло нова серия, пусната от фирма РВК през тази година. Контрола на всички процеси се извършва от тъчскрин с вграден софтуер, като за улеснение има така нареченият и Test Assistant или Test Assist, който последователно следва дава възможност на химика стъпка по стъпка да следва всички процеси в създаването и извършването на теста. Има възможности, има директно функция Help за помощ, възможност за избор на различни езици, улеснени интуитивни операции, както и на последно място дава възможност за директно наблюдение на статуса на вашия тест. Като също за улеснение процесите при извършване на теста имат и цветово значение в зелено или червено, което позволява наблюдаване в съответствието дали параметрите са спрямо спецификацията. Когато не са, те се оцветяват в червено, има възможност и за звукова сигнализация. Улеснява работата и не е необходимо съответно химика да стои до апарата, за да следи дали всичко с него е наред. Спестява време и средства съответно. Има възможност за конфигуриране съгласно методиките по съответните фармакопеи за автоматично правовземане в онлайн режим, като вариантите са най-различни, но най-общо разпространени с перисталтична помпа или така наречена ботална помпа с UV-vis. И посредством контрола на цялата система става през компютър и DSO.NET софтуер. В онлайн, офлайн конфигурация принципът е същия, но освен OAVIS, спектралфотометър за онлайн наблюдение или онлайн измерване на резултатите, има възможност и добавяне на фракшен колектор, който да събира пробичките, вследствие да бъдат анализирани допълнително. Най-голямата система в линията на дислушни на системите е така наречения RoboDis, който е изцяло автоматизирана система. Възможност за стандартно за анализ на 10 партиди с опция на анализ до 40. Може да при работата с него има възможност за добавяне на среда, смяна на pH, конфигуриране в онлайн режим с UV, с течен хроматограф. Така че една наистина модерна система. Отнема малко повече време подготовката и за анализ, но след това е напълно самостоятелна и не е необходимо непрекъснато наблюдение от страна на Dissonant софтуера е софтуерът, който се използва за различни конфигурации с различните модели на вана или на изслушан системите, когато е необходимо в работа в офлайн, онлайн или он-офлайн режим, изцяло в съответствие с CFR 21, Part 11, пълна проследимост на извършените операции и одит трейл. Към всички системи за степен на разтваряне да бъдат добавени различни аксесуари, като се предлагат различни видове лопатки, кошнички с различен размер на мрежите, съответно канули за ръчно провземане, различни филтри, синкери и така нататък. Има съдове с различен обем, с тъмно стъкло, прозрачно стъкло, допълнителни капаци, които покриват съдовете за намаляване съответно на изпаряването на средата. Възможност за анализ на кремове, мазила, капсули и други. Системата DFZ2, която е с проточна клетка, съответства съгласно метод 4 на USP. Отделна система от сериите на дислушен системите. Ето, самия метод е малко по-различен. В него една проточна клетка, в която е поставена пробичката. Съответно, средата тук не е в съд, в който се поставя пробата, е с определен обем и циркулира, през определено време се взима пробичката за анализ, като вариантите са два линии, затворена луп система или отворена система. При затворената система един фиксиран обем циркулира във времето, зададено за измерване, за изпитване, докато при отворената система позволява непрекъснато добавяне на нова среда. Изглежда всичко е с бързо затваряне, бързо фиксиране на отделните части на мрежи филтрите.
Колеги, само минутка. Лек технически проблем, сега сме готови.
Чувате ли ме?
Чува се, да. Можеш да продължиш след.
Съжалявам за прекъсването. Ще малък технически проблем с компютъра. Системата по USB Shader с проточна клетка може да бъде като самостоятелна система или конфигурирана с UEFIS в онлайн режим, или отново с фракшен колектор за събиране на пробите в офлайн режим. Също тук контролът е през компютър и Dissonant софтуер. USB метод 37.
Светли отново те изхвърли системата, трябва отново да се шернеш.
Ами си беше влезнал.
Да.
Ами изхвърлям. Съжалявам отново за прекъсването. Надявам се да се вижда и да няма повече прекъсване до края на презентацията. Останалите аксесуари или части, които са свързани с работата на изслушен системите. Това е системата за подготовка MediPrep, която ви позволява в общи линии подготовка на 16 до 16 литра в рамките на 25 минути, като средата е напълно загрята, дегазирана и дозирана спрямо нуждите на анализа. Тук тестер, допълващ серията по показател степен на разтваряне. Това е тестер за анализ на медицински дъвки, където положението е сравнително рядко, но все пак и част от продуктовата линия. Физико-механичните тестери за различни показатели, съответно на таблетки, гранули или прахове. Започвайки от тестера за механична якост, като най-базисен модел TBH-125 до изцяло автоматизираният Multicheck 6. Тестерите за механична якост позволяват, освен определение на механична якост, така и различните размери на таблетката, дебелина, диаметър, дължина, широчина и тегло. Както казах, базовия модел TBH-125 TD е изцяло с ръчно управление, ръчно подаване на таблетките, на пробичките, определя механичната якост като стандарт, като опция би могъл да се добави определяне на дебелина и диаметър. Принтирането на резултатите е с външен принтер и USB принтер интерфейс. TBH-325 има възможност също с ръчно подаване на пробичките, като при него има възможност свързване с везна и автоматично разпознаване и прехвърляне на измереното тегло на съответните таблетки, които лежат на измерване на определение. TBH-425 е полуавтоматичен тестер по показателя, като е с възможност за зареждане на карусел с 10 таблетки, 10 проби. Също при него определението на механични якости на диаметър са стандартно конфигурирани, като опция би могло да се добави дебелина на таблетка и тегло. Има вградена памет за запазване на до 50 продукта. Принтирането на резултатите е също през USB интерфейс и външен принтер. По-високият клас EasyCheck е изцяло автоматизирана система с карусел до 20 проби. Има приспособление за ориентиране на облонг таблетки или таблетки с по-различна форма. Стандартно определя 5 параметъра всяка една от таблетките. Механична якост, дебелина, диаметър или широчина, дължина и тегло на таблетката. Има вграден сензорен екран с вграден софтуер, изцяло лежащ на Audit Trail и съответствие с CFR 21 Part 11. Тук също отпечатането на резултатите става посредством интерфейс и външен принтер. Най-високият клас, напълно автоматизирана система Multicheck 6 позволява анализ до 12 партиди. Всяка от партидите, знаете, което на карусела, може да се анализират до 100 таблетки. Отново стандартно има определен на 5 параметъра, якост, дебелина, диаметър, широчина, дължина и тегло. Контролът е много посредством MCNet софтуер, като също тук участването на резултатите става посредством USB интерфейс. При Multicheck 6 има възможност и за външен контрол на апарата през компютър. Използвания софтуер, както вече споменах, MCNet изцяло съответствие с всички изисквания, използване на SQL база данни за съхранение на получените резултати. Може да се създават различни роли и нива на достъп. Всичко, което е заложено в съвременните изисквания. Autocal е една система, патентована от Термо за калибровка на апаратите за механична якост, което заменя използването на теглилките, стандартният метод, известен в момента, до момента. Свързва се чрез USB порт, директно разпознаван от софтуера на апарата. Другите тестери в поредицата на физико-механични показатели, това са по тестерите за степен на възлагане, наречените disintegration тестери. Най-базовия модел ZT121 с една или с две тестови кошнички, тестови позиции, ръчно повдигане и сваляне на кошничката при стартиране на анализ. ZT320 има възможност да бъде конфигуриран с до 4 работни позиции. Може да се използват кошнички тип А и кошнички тип Б за таблетки с по-голям размер. И автоматичната система ZT720, която също може да бъде с една, две или до 4 работни позиции, работи с тип А и тип Б кошнички, като тук времето на читане за разпадане на таблетката е изцяло автоматично. Софтуер и сензорен екран позволява работа и следене на учените резултати. Него същия начин отпечатването на резултатите е чрез USB принтер интерфейс и външен принтер. Други тестери в линията за физико-механични показатели, тестера PAR за изтриваемост и шлибост на таблетките, може да бъде конфигуриран с един или два барабана от двете страни, като и двата могат да бъдат по показател изтриваемост или да бъдат различни, съответно един левия или десния изтриваемост, другия за шлибост. Апаратът е в изцяло съответствие с изискванията на USP европейска фармакопея. Следващият тестер, който е в продуктовата листа, ETS, един тестер за изпитване херметичност на блистерите след опакуване, след блистериране. Има възможност за конфигуриране с различни контейнерчета или екситатори, в зависимост от нуждите на съответното производство. CVM или така наречен тестер за насипна плътност може да бъде конфигуриран съгласно метод 1 или метод 2 на USP, като има възможност да бъде конфигуриран в един тестер съгласно двата метода, метод 1 и метод 2, комбинирана система. Който е работил с тази система, знае, че е сравнително шумна, затова тестера може да бъде окомплектован и с такъв щатно намаляващ звука. Серията GTL за течливост на субстанции или таблетна смес, когато този показател е подлежащ на измерване. Има различни варианти. Най-базовия модел GTL, който е само с задаване на възможност за смяна на различни отвори, през които да протича, засичайки ръчно времето. за изтичане на съответния продукт. И GTP, това става малко вече по-автоматизирано, градена памет за създаване на различни методи, везна, която отчита съответно количеството преминало за определено време. Завършвам серията от тестери за физико-механични тествания с линията за изпитване на супозитории, както при всички, като из останалите таблетни форми или капсули. Тук има съответно тестери по абсолютно всички показатели за механична якост, точка на топене, разлагане. Последните продукти в последната част продукти, предлагани от РВК, са основно насочени за така нареченото R&D оборудване, общи линии незаменими при едно пилотно производство, разработване на малки партиди в фармацевтичната индустрия. Системата е сравнително базова, един задвижващ мотор с към него възможност за добавяне на различни приставки спрямо необходимостта и целите на производството. Има възможност да бъде окомплектован с различни типове мелници, различни смесители, ще е кубичен, многообразен, двойно-коничен, барабан, високоскоростен смесител, планетарен смесител, различни казания за пелети, за увиване на таблетки, полиране, гранулатори за мокросухо гранулиране, за пълнене и дозиране на различни форми. И накрая тази линия от R&D инструменти се завършва с едноударна таблетна преса, сравнително с малък капацитет до 4000 таблетки на час, но както вече казах, за едно малко пилотно производство, експериментални партиди и страхотен помощник. Съответно към таблетната преса може да бъде окомплектована с различни видове консоли за облонг таблетки, за плоски таблетки, таблетки с различна форма. Това е спрямо интересите и нуждите на съответните. Благодаря ви за вниманието. Съжалявам за техническите проблеми, които имахме. Съм на ваше разположение.
И аз благодаря. Ако имате в последствие въпроси, колеги, разбира се, може да ги задавате и сега, или знаете как да контактувате с нас. Винаги сте добре дошли. Ще се радваме да отговаряме на всякакви ваши въпроси. От мен благодаря за отделеното време и днес, и във вчерашния ден, които бяха. Надявам се наистина да бяхме полезни. И няколко думи от господин Минков, предполагам.
Да, аз също благодаря. Това беше последната презентация от двудневния ни семинар. Отделили сме време за дискусия, така че ако имате въпроси, коментари, каквото и да е, ще ви дадем възможност звука на всички ще бъде включен, така че ще се радвам, ако има някаква обратна връзка от ваша страна. Това беше нашия двудневен семинар онлайн. Първия, надявам се и последния. Надявам се всички вас до година да се видим на живо. Всички въпроси, които бяха зададени по време на семинара, всички коментари, които ще се появят по-късно и всичко това, което сте отбелязали, че желаете да получите като материали и линкове, ще ви бъде изпратено, както и това, което отбелязахме предварително в поканите на всички наши участници, ще изпратим подаръчни комплекти, за да спазим традицията. Не можахме да ви почерпим по едно кафе и една чаша вино, но се надявам следващия път да компенсираме. Благодаря още веднъж на всички. Ако няма коментари, ще помоля Митко само да ги анмютни всичките. Ако няма коментари, желая на всички приятен ден. Бъдете здрави и до нови срещи! Ще оставяме още няколко минути отворена на сесията, така че ако имате допълнителни коментари и въпроси, заповядайте. Още веднъж всичко добро от нас, бъдете здрави и до нови срещи!